Very warm welcome to all the participants and especially to our alumni, Balaji, Yogesh, and Imran. I think it's a privilege to have you here today as part of this first webinar of this year. And as we were discussing a bit earlier, I think as a program, the PGXPM caters to professionals who are looking to move from a functional management role to general management role, and this is a big transition, right? And in terms of course, the role designation and things like that, but more fundamentally in terms of the thought process, in terms of perspectives, unlearning a bit, and then learning a whole lot of new things. And while the details of the program are available on the website, it's something that the future participants can learn from the admissions team. I think what is hard to capture is the impact of the program in terms of the participants' journeys, and that's where I think having alumni like you would help people visualize the possibilities and what they can do, how they can potentially leverage and develop a thought process that will help them make the best out of the program. So it's great to have you here, and also welcome to Balaji, who just joined us, right? So I think I would not take too much time before actually getting our alumni in and asking them to share their journeys. I think that's the most useful takeaway from this session. What we'll do is first have introductory remarks by our alumni about their experience, their journey through the last few years prior to the MBA program and post doing the PGXPM. And I was just interacting before we went live, and I already know that there have been some very interesting transitions, both in terms of functional transitions, in terms of even geographical transitions, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of interesting things that will come out. So what I'll do is like request all the alumni to give us a brief uh, you know brief insights into their own journeys, and then what we'll do is open it up to questions, and we'll club some of the questions and pose it to our alumni. And I think they are the best uh, uh, folks to address these questions as well, more than I think even us in admissions or our faculty as well, because they have been in your shoes some time back. So first I request Balaji to share your journey.
So there are two Balajis, Gautam, so you may have to
Oh, yes.
clarify.
Yes. So Balaji C.
Right. So I did my Great Lakes course. I belong to the 2008 PGXPM batch. So we were called Apex. I joined this course after about 13, 14 years experience. I, I was a B mechanical engineer who started my career with engineering product sales with companies like Dunlop and subsequently with Sandvik Asia Limited. I was a regional manager when I joined the course. And I had transitioned just at that point in time into HR consulting, largely in training and development. I used to work with a company called NAS Partner, which is supposed to be one of India's largest sales and marketing training companies. So I joined them, and we were driving initiatives of change with other organizations, right? And I realized just by the skill of having to stand up and present, you don't add much value. Somebody needs to understand the business in which somebody belongs to for you to add value for people. So hence, I realized just my mechanical engineering background gives me the structure to think in a structured method, but then I couldn't understand economics. I couldn't understand accounting principles. So one of the things that I wanted to really learn in the PGXPM program was how to hold meaningful conversations on economics and accounting to understand how a company is performing, understand how a situation is. And Uncle Bala Balachandar was a great inspiration. So, and I know he personally teaches cost accounting, and that was a great inspiration for us to come and join at that point in time. So I joined the course, and during the course, I had moved from Chennai. Those days, I used to live in Chennai. Moved to Mumbai. I happened to step into HR. Now the need was very different. That me not being from an HR background, having to run HR for an organization. So I was the head of HR at that point in time. So I wanted to view entire HR from the business perspective. So my during the course, whatever I've learned helped me to visualize entire function of HR from a perspective of, I used to say that I'm a supply chain management guy. So I handle supply chain of talent. That's the role that I do as a HR head. And that had been a very interesting learning that I've had. And from there, I moved on to Singapore, so where I was the HR director for a company in APAC. So I was managing HR for 5 countries. And then I moved back to India just last year. And today I work in a niche space of leadership development. And we work with about 140 customers across the country. And we work with long-term engagement, helping organizations to build leadership pipeline, and management development is what we currently work with. That's the core work that I do. That's who I am.
Thank you, Balaji. I think it's a journey where you have moved from one functional area to a different, and overall have moved to more of a leadership role. With an overview of all the different aspects of management, and now you are, on the other hand, also coaching and developing talent across the board. So it's a fantastic story. Um, uh, Yogesh, I think we were discussing about your journey as well. So maybe again you can give a brief background of your journey prior to MBA, and how that helped you in the journey post the XPM.
Thanks, Gautam. Thanks. Good morning, everyone. So at present, I am taking care as a CEO of Skymet. Skymet is India's the only private weather company right now. It's a VC invested company, headquartered in Delhi, but the business operations is happening from Mumbai, and we have a research division in Pune. Uh, so it's a very niche sector. As I said, we are the only private weather entity in India, because there is not much scope for private. This is what everybody thinks. Okay, but going back 20 years from today, like 2004, I was in an organization called NCML, which was more towards managing an agricultural risk. And being an electronics graduate, I had an opportunity to work on the electronic sensing systems, which can measure rain, temperature, humidity, and all. That was very, initially a kind of disappointment for me, because I was not seeing any opportunity initially, like in 2004-5. Like, who is going to work on weather in the private sector? Okay. Fortunate for us, within a year span, there's a lot of erratic rainfall. Everything has started happening in India. Mumbai had a delug in 2005, 2005, and all of a sudden, most of the businesses in the country has started giving an addressing the weather, and, or you can say, climate portion onto it. I think that has triggered me that there is a huge opportunity as a business in the climate, not only weather, whole as a climate. And for me, I thought there is an immense need to do a kind of business understanding of this. Okay, I need to understand the business concept, strategy, marketing, operation, and also on the finance side. Because being a pure electronics engineer, many things which were not knowing to us. I think I started pursuing a kind of course which can help me to brush up my business knowledge, so that I should be prepared when there is an opportunity. And I joined Great Lakes in 2009-10 period, and I passed out in 2011. And I think during that period, the entire business concept, how to build a weather company in India, as came out from me. Okay. So during that period, the company where I am right now, the Skymet, which was founded by my partner in 2004, okay, which was more focused measurement sensing system. And what has actually helped me from the Great Lakes is that how to make weather as a sustainable business. Okay, how I can actually link weather related data sets or services into insurance, banking, agribusinesses, or planning. Okay, so there are many sectors which has been opened up in last 1 decade. Okay, and I think that is an absolutely fascinating journey, because unless and until to have a very specific knowledge or understanding on how to pitch V to VC, if you are pitching it to VC in 2011-12, there was no formal presentations or guidelines at that time. Okay, and whatever I think I learned in the financial management, negotiation part, strategy, organizational behavior in the classes, I think that was my basic pitch deck for me. Okay. And I think this the course which the Great Lakes has designed, for me at least, it was bang on at that time, because that has helped me to prepare my pitch to different VCs and the management also at that time. And I hope that ki in last 1 decade, more than 1 decade now, I think the course must have become a much more sharper. Okay, understanding what kind of new tech and opportunities are there in the market. Yes. Thank you.
Uh, Thank you, Yogesh. I think it's fascinating to hear how you could leverage the insights to, you know, monetize the business. And first of all, it was audacious to build a, weather company out of India, right? You have the global biggest AccuWeather, others and all. I know that Skymet is now widely used. Congratulations on that. I think hopefully over a period of time it would be pretty much a reference point across the world as well. Um,
Thank
right, and I think it's a very useful insight that it's not just about personal growth, right? It's when people move from a functional mindset to an overall business mindset, I think that impacts their organizations as well, right? To be able to explore the possibilities, right? Which they may not be looking at, when they're limited to their own functional responsibilities, and ensuring that they do well in that. So thanks for those insights.
Thanks.
Hi Imran, good to see you. I I think you were there last year as well, or the year before.
Uh, Actually, last year I did give a talk also.
Yeah. So good to see you again.
Yeah.
Again, one of the fantastic things about having a group of alumni like you is that all of you bring very different perspectives. All of you are in very, very different areas, um, right? So Imran is pretty much on the marketing side, uh, right? And I think has a very interesting journey as well. So Imran, I won't uh, take the time. I'll let you speak. If you can just take us through your journey.
Cool. Hi guys. Firstly, thanks for inviting me here. I see Yogesh also here, my uh, class alumni. So hi Yogesh, hope you're doing well. Uh, uh, so with respect to my journey, I think I was a BE IT guy who got into digital marketing as soon as I left engineering after my graduation. So I was doing already very different things from what I studied. And digital marketing in 2005, when I joined digital marketing, was at its very nascent stage. We were going and convincing people that they should advertise on Google AdWords and on Google, right? That was the stage at which digital marketing was. So I've been fortunate to be in a industry which has been continuously evolving and moving forward over the last 20 uh, years, right? And Great Lakes has really helped me, uh, you know, structure and learn and to keep on excelling. So I would say that the few things that I would attribute to Great Lakes is one, the enhanced level of strategic thinking that one gets and leadership development for, managing things that you've not managed. Uh, as you keep growing, in your career, you will need to do things that you've not been a subject matter specialist for. And to be able to understand, adapt, and manage those things for people, you need to have those skills and understand that. Strategically thinking about the organization from all perspectives, not just from your functional perspective, is very, very important. And that's the kind of understanding that you will get when you do your MBA. Networking opportunities, of course, are a million if you know how to use them and do more with it. Uh, we are currently at Aditya Birla Capital Digital, uh, uh, trying to do a program for alumni itself, trying to network with all of them. So we understand the power of this network, and it's a amazing network to tap into. Uh, the other bit that I would say is career switching and making your overall profile far more enhanced and crisp to talk to a prospect interviewer. I think when you go through an MBA, you meet people from different walks of life, talking about different sectors. You learn a lot of tacit knowledge, which sort of molds you and shapes you. You may not realize it in the short term, but in the longer term, you will see the impact of it. I think you will also get a fairly large global perspective, because there are a lot of global case studies. There are faculty that are coming from everywhere that are teaching you. The other important one I would say is the entrepreneurial skills. Even in your job, and even if you're an entrepreneur, those are really, really important. And I feel that entrepreneurial skills and thinking about your job also like an entrepreneur is very, very important. Uh, Other than that, I would say that see, I've shifted 5 jobs over the last 12 odd years since the time I moved to Great Lakes. I was in an agency. From there, I moved to a larger performance marketing agency, one of the largest in India. From an agency side, because I had an MBA, I was one of those who got considered to move towards the brand, and I moved into Mahindra Finance to lead the brand there. Uh, from a digital marketing perspective, I did well there for 3.5 years and moved to Sher Khan, where I was leading digital marketing again. And because I did great work at Sher Khan, I I got recruited at Aditya Birla Capital in their most crucial project. Aditya Birla Capital is a company where they have 6 finance companies, predominantly into. So the 6 financial companies are into life insurance, health insurance, mutual funds, stocks. There's an NBFC and there's an HFC. And NBFC is a non-banking financial company, or and HFC is a housing finance company, right? So these two provide loans for personal loan, business loan, and home loans. So that way, if you think about it, they had most of these products, and what they didn't have was one company which could sell all of these products together. So they were launching that company, which was a distributor company, and outside of the group, outside of the company, full company, there were 6 marketing heads. They picked me to lead this project, because it was going to be a direct to customer company, and today direct to customer is all digital. And over the last 1.5 2 years, I've seen amazing growth and amazing opportunity, and we've launched an app called ABCD. And this app has everything from UPI and bill payments to loans, insurance, investments. And we've also launched new products called MyTrack, where you can sort of uh, check your credit score, consolidate your portfolio across multiple banks, analyze your spends. And also, there's a cool feature called a digital selfie, through which you can get 24 parameters of your health monthly, and you can keep tracking your health. We've launched this just in April. Mr. Kumar Mangalam Birla came to launch our app, and it was a big deal for us. And yeah, now we'll slowly start doing a large marketing campaign once all our uh, channels and functions and structures and everything are working well, because in a super quick 12 months we built this app from scratch. And yeah, it's been an amazing journey.
Yeah, that was fascinating, Imran. Your journey throughout, it was in digital marketing, but I think the way you scaled up in a relatively short period of time, and I think that's something common across. I think you all three of you are in very different spaces, right? Imran, you are heading digital marketing for a very large business group, one of the largest in the country, right? Balaji has been in marketing, but then he built a career in on the talent side, has been head of HR both in India and in Singapore, and has is now in a leadership consulting firm, um, right? Both as a business head as well as a consultant. And Yogesh is a CEO of a true Indian uh, startup which has now established itself in the weather services area. So I think the journeys are very different in some ways, in very different spaces. But I think what is common from all your stories is that uh, where the program helped is in terms of building the business perspectives, right? And that's precisely what the program aims to do. I think anybody who comes into the program, typically the average experience in the PGXPM is about 14, 15 years. Uh, right. So everybody is an expert in their respective areas. It's not like they're just starting, they're seasoned professionals already managing teams. In some cases, we have had people managing teams of like 500 people plus. Uh, right. So they're all experts, seasoned professionals. Right. So the program doesn't aim to teach them how to do their job better. Right. Perhaps they can teach uh, others in the class about their business, but I don't think anybody can teach them about their own area. But what the program helps is in broadening the horizons beyond whatever the respective uh, you know focus areas have been in the past, and to look at new possibilities in their space, but also beyond their space across the company and perhaps across the functions, right? So I think that's precisely what the program does. And there are two ways in which that happens. One is obviously, with the faculty coming in from, again, different, bringing in different perspectives, both faculty from within Great Lakes, but also from outside, experts from other parts of the country, abroad, and so on. But I think as important is the learning from the peer group. And that's a consistent feedback I get, uh, is that uh, people learn quite a bit outside the classroom when they're on campus, doing assignments together. And almost all courses have assignments that people work on, because here, unlike, let's say, undergrad or like, MBAs, where it's freshers and all, it's not so much about testing, it's about working together on projects, right? That's how participants apply their learnings, and that leads to both uh, you know getting insights from each other, and as well as networking, and also puts one in a position of where one is forced to uh, communicate more effectively, win over others, to your point of view, because this is a situation where there is no hierarchy, right? When most people are in their respective companies, you have a certain constraints, right? You're reporting to somebody, others are reporting to you. Very rarely you work with peers, and even there, there is always some kind of constraints. Whereas in a class where everybody has having great backgrounds, everybody is a seasoned professional. You put together five of them, there is no hierarchy, there's no other way except through your persuasion, your logical skills, that you can actually get everybody together, right? So that itself is a great learning experience. So yeah, I think that's the feedback we have from the talking to multiple alumni over the years. But if Balaji and Yogesh, if you can also talk a bit about the experience during the program itself, I think that would be useful for the future participants.
I'll go. Gautam. So, listening to Yogesh and Imran, so one of the thought that came to my mind when I joined the program. So, I was managing P&L at that point in time. Okay, but I was managing P&L like a typical sales and marketing guy would do. So, did not have a wide perspective of how business is run. How do I scale business for the future? So, those were the issues, concerns that I had. So, hence, when I joined the program, I would say that it challenged my thinking. So thinking in two ways. One is problem solving for current issues. So which has got to do a lot with your analytical thinking ability, right? So your Great Lakes teaches you phenomenally well to apply your analytical thinking. So you learn how to problem solve. Your papers like operations research, the case studies that you currently work with, all of them triggers a significant amount of analytical thinking. At the same time, the some of the work that we do at Great Lakes also challenges you to think about the future. So, and future is uncertain, right? So, analytical thinking helps you to solve problem to which there could be possible solutions. So, strategic thinking largely is in terms of thinking about future where certain not all information is available to you. So, how do you build hypothesis to test what you would want to work with? And that to me was a great learning. And earlier on, I would have been a person who would have wanted all information readily available for me to make a decision. So during the course, I also learned at how do you make decisions when not all information is available. And in a case like that, so how do you take a proposal to a board, build a hypothesis to talk about future, and influence the board and board members was a significant learning for me, and that really helped me. The other aspect is, like we said, that all of us were peers. We did a lot of small group work, and people come with significant years of experience, and they come with specialization. And one of the things that I've learned also is to appreciate different perspectives of people who bring their perspectives to table, and how do you assimilate these perspectives of different people into a common perspective, and how do you make decisions, how do you make meaning of those perspectives, which had come from having to work with people of certain caliber, people of certain level of experience, people with certain level of thinking that they already bring to the table. And when you're problem solving it together, or when you're creating a concept together, so it challenges significantly, and I love that piece. The last piece that I learned is what is important to business, your ability to quickly sense whether you're an operations based company, whether you're a customer focused company, whether you're going to be a resource constrained company. I shifted from, I mean, after my Great Lakes qualification, right? So I was working in telecom. Telecom was largely customer experience as well as very, very small EBITDA margin companies, right? So telecom is a very low margin company. I moved from that to a commodity based organization. So I would love to speak to Yogesh at some point in time. So we were in Palm, in Indonesia and Malaysia. The edible oils is what we're producing, and the vagaries of weather defines what your bottom line is and what your top line will be. So, as a head of HR, I was able to understand this business from a very different perspective, not essentially going by classical HR policies, processes with it, but rather looking at what is important to business. And at some point in time, I was also given the opportunity to lead a manufacturing plant and be part of the commodity trading desk. So I would owe that experience of mine came because of my understanding that I gathered during Great Lakes, and then I built on further on that. So that's something that was good. So to me, essentially, your thinking process changes, having to listen to multiple people who are your batchmates, and also the faculty who bring it very differently. They also share, when they share that perspective, it's very thought provoking. So I would want to place that for the team.
Uh, Yogesh and Imran, you want to add anything about the program experience?
Imran,
For me, yeah, go ahead, Yogesh, please.
go ahead, Imran, you go
No,
ahead.
no, no, please, please.
So I'll just add quickly. I think the one of my personal learning is basically to learn how to build products. Okay, the products which are more sustainable. Okay, like I think for me the most exciting sessions were the case studies. Okay, and the case studies for me particularly, who's coming from an engineering background, is quite a bit of new concept and who doesn't had any formal business education plus no formal commercial responsibility in the organization also. I think during that entire duration, different case studies, how to build a product is something is my key learning. If you can attend, if you can be if I make all the resources available both on the teaching faculty, the colleagues, high pedigree colleagues, basically their different diverse culture, and also the resources inside of Great Lakes. I think that if someone comes out with some idea, okay, any new student, and wants to build something in 1 year, I think they can have everything there. Okay, different perspective for his idea, because I came there with only one perspective, how to build this, and I think I took help of every person available there. Observer, most of the cases try to test my understanding. Whenever there is a case which I have taken, that is more perspective of how my product is going to behave in future. So I think that is my learning, and I think everybody who wants to build something in future, for them it's a kind of sandbox. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Cool. Uh, Thanks. For me, I think, see, engineering is a very different kind of an uh, experience than an MBA. You're into the grind. You're like continuously trying to learn concepts and burn the midnight oil to get like uh, through your exams, and it's very different from an MBA where you're learning a lot about a lot of different things, but not so much from the perspective of just an exam, but real life implementation. And I think that's where I feel that the experience of that at Great Lakes was amazing. Firstly, the classes, the way they are designed is fabulous. The whole campus is amazing. The facilities are all top notch. Secondly, because it's a little away from the city, you get to live in a place which is sort of a little, uh, you can have like a nice focused work studying environment there. It's close to Mahabalipuram, where we used to keep going to party once in a while also. And On the whole, I would say that the case studies, as Yogesh spoke about, was a great example. Uh, I remember Professor Veeravalli had shown us a movie, The Negotiator, when he was teaching negotiation and bargaining, and we were all sitting in class and watching a film. So it's very different from your every other educational experience, I would say.
Interesting. So thanks for touching on the other aspects of the program. Um, right. I think, yeah, the program is about one part of it is obviously, the learning aspect. The other is the experience beyond. I think some of those experiences are more memorable and valuable because that's what bonds the participants, right? And builds you a lifetime network as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Balaji, thanks for joining in. Balaji Renganathan, since we have two Balajis here, so I'll be specific. So Balaji, if you can also just introduce yourself and give us a brief overview of your journey and also about your experience during the XPM.
Yeah, sure, Gautam. So I would say I'm from the COVID batch of PGXPM, enrolled in 2020 and then passed out in 2022. So the first 3 semesters we were running it online, and the fourth semester we were in the residence with a lot of the COVID restrictions, right? So it was interesting journey, like switching over from online to the residential was definitely tough,
Uh,
right?
Balaji, I think suddenly your voice level decreased. Audio level decreased.
Yeah. Hello, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, maybe I'll switch off my video. Could be poor network. Uh, yeah. So yeah, for me, looking behind, one what I really enjoyed were the case studies, really high quality case studies with a lot of uh, 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 terrific insights being provided by the faculty and also by my peers, because we were all from very diverse industries. And also I remember the kind of conflicts that came in the process of working on those case studies, right? So those conflicts were good because it really opened your eyes to what people from different functions and different backgrounds think. So that to me was very interesting. For me, coming from a HR background, I did struggle with.
Balaji, your voice is dropping off. I think it's
Hello.
starting off loud, but then it's
Actually, it's
dropping off.
clear for us, Gautam.
Yeah, maybe you can do without the earphones, directly with the laptop
Okay.
speaker.
Okay. My worry is a lot
Your
of background
signal is
noise.
fine. Your video was also fine. There was no issues there. I think it's just the audio thing.
Okay. 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 Let me try. Hello. Can you hear me? Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, and I think maybe you can even switch on the video. It should be okay. Because we are able to hear you. It was just the volume.
Okay, okay, okay. So yeah, so what I was saying is that like the one of the best parts where I would put it this way: a typical MBA runs for 2 years and so on, right? But what in just about 20 24 months, even though we were just doing more residential short-term classes, what I really remembered about it was a very carefully thought out topics, right? By in different subjects, so the learning was very sharp. We weren't mulling over a lot of stuff, but very sharp learning, very precise selection of topics that really helped us learn quickly about wide range of other functions uh, from a general management context. That was very good, and so the faculty were very precise in their learning, right? And very carefully chosen case studies, which I really remember. The best of it was the case studies, and the kind of intense debates and conflicts conversations we used to have, and different personalities, right? So it was helpful because while processing those conflicts, you take it back to the workplace in terms of being able to deal with similar conflicts back at the workplace when people all have different experiences when we are discussing about strategic stuff, right? That was one. The third thing I remember was those residentials, really packed. We used to envy the full-time students who seemed a little bit relaxed, walking around having fun, but we really couldn't. We really couldn't, because we are attending classes from early morning till late in the evening, and then we are really rushing to finish the dinner and again get back to prepare for the next day's classes. Right. Those 8 or 9 days were that way were really tough, but that I think that made us stronger. Okay. And for me personally, coming from a HR background, I struggled with some of the data analytics type courses, a bit of the Python kind of a stuff, the ML, AI, a little bit of those stuff. Yes, I personally struggled because I had no clue about those topics before I landed there. So it needed a little bit extra reading, practicing to be able to cope up with those classes. So all in all, a very quick snapshot that really helped me step up and get back to my work as a HR person. I could get back to work, being able to connect with some very operational stuff or very business stuff that gets discussed, right? Being able to even ask the right questions, being able to ask, challenge other functions in the right way, uh, post my program at Great Lakes.
Balaji, you're also head of HR at Vestas, but I think Asia Pac. So in this role, you obviously would also be looking at your own internal talent and people across different functions and all. Um, how do you think the program helps in moving from more of a functional to a general management role? Right? I think how do the perspectives change?
Okay, so I have not just me. There are a few other Great Lakes alumni in my organization. Some of them are from from operations. They are moved into more revenue contributing or profitability roles. I have stuck to HR. Since I'm from a very tech organization, it would not be easy for me to make that switch. But if I'd stayed back in my previous organization, which was more to consumer and pharmaceuticals, which was more a sales organization, in fact, at that point of time is when I joined the course, I would have actually made the shift. That was one of the discussions I've had with my management about shifting more into sales and marketing. But in this organization, I did not do that. But what really helped me is that I was not bringing in HR initiatives and policies saying, okay, this will make employees happy. But I was able to present most of my HR initiatives talking numbers, all right? Uh, how a certain policy or certain initiative improves profitability, all right? How at the end of it, we actually become, it is, we actually contribute to the bottom line. I was able to present a lot of my business case for HR initiatives talking numbers, which was a
Hmm.
big shift from being just a HR person to being a HR person with a PGXPM from Great Lakes.
Right. So we basically could make business case for whatever
Absolutely.
initiatives you are taking, and I think that's again common. Yogesh was also talking about how do you structure and present a product, right? And I think yeah, I think ultimately organizations make decisions based on whether it makes a business sense, and I think being able to structure and present ideas at the larger organization level, I think that's one of the key capabilities that senior management professionals need.
Yeah.
So I think that's great to hear. I think now we'll open to questions. So request participants to pose any questions that you have in the chat, and that will pose that to our alumni here. So I think we did cover the journey and the learning aspect. So a large number of things that we would have already covered, but I think anything specific we'll take up now. Um, So once again, let me repeat, all participants, if you have any questions, either specific to any of our alumni or general questions, you may just type it out in the chat window or the Q&A window. Yeah, I think there's one from Saif. Question from Saif is, how much is the demand in the industry for candidates who have completed this program, even though this is essentially a certification program, right? So I think maybe people from the HR background here are best positioned to address that. And I think that's where I think this program is different from a typical fresh MBA, which is essentially about placements and all. So I think this is more about building capabilities, and that gets valued over the long term. So, but Balaji, I think instantly both Balajis are in the HR field. But yeah, I think both of you maybe can address.
See, before Balaji, who is currently a HR head, speaks a bit, so I will talk as an ex-HR head. What we look for in candidates is your depth of thinking. Okay, so now, are you able to apply your thinking process in a specific domain in a very structured way? Is one thing that we look at. I mean, I'll go back to what I said earlier. So, how analytical are you in your thought process? And Balaji, when he spoke, what he said is, I mean, so the way you present information is not ad hoc, it's not intuitive, but that's got a structure and it's very analytical. So analytical thinking is something that we check. We also check for your strategic thinking. Now, even though it's a certification program, I found my ability to articulate who I am as a person was much stronger with my knowledge and experience, which got me to take me to a different place. So, if you are looking to do Great Lakes as a course only for you to get a better job, you would still be benefited, but you would better get benefited if you have a targeted learning that you want to have and you want to augment your career with this learning, which will take you to a level higher. So that's my view. Balaji.
Yeah, thanks, Balaji. Just to add in, um, uh, when when I was doing this course, I was with TTK, and then suddenly I joined Vestas. Of course, in the process of joining, I did get interviewed at a couple. Your business understanding is really different from a typical HR person. So that's one feedback that I picked up. Okay. Second thing is that in my own batch, there's someone who was somewhere in the middle of an organization in CTS. You know, and post that he joined another job, but by the time he finished the MBA, he stepped out and started his own venture. So now he runs a small uh, uh, outfit that offers IT, software development. Okay, the small setup, but we keep seeing him grow every day. Okay, uh, and there was someone who was already, the family was running a business, and she's from Pondicherry, and she was handling some aspects of the business, but some of the core operations were definitely handled by her husband, who had a operational background. And today she's a lot more involved in that business, and they're really expanding big time. They're really expanding big time. We happen to visit her factory. Amazing. She is brought in those a lot of things that we learned in quality management. From the course, she started putting a lot of that into the course. So there's another person, that she's another person I've seen that evolve. The couple of other people who moved from mere tech roles into more techno commercial roles uh, after they finished this course. Two, three of them got elevated into higher levels in their own organization. So if I were to look back, probably because I was from COVID, we are one of the smallest batches, but several of them had actually career shifts either upward or sideward by the time the course was done, or maybe just 6 months after the course was done. So it's not that like you're going to start fresh like a typical MBA, right? Most of you coming in here are going to have a big resume that stands for you. Okay, this then becomes like a cream on top of the cake that gives you the edge in the market.
Let me add something, Gautam. So, like what Balaji mentioned, so some of my classmates today, all of them have had a career progression upward. So one of my classmates is today heading talent in Coca-Cola. Somebody is actually an entrepreneur doing extremely well. Somebody has become a CEO of functions. Somebody had got a geographical transition from one location to another, and then that person is managing the entire Asia Pacific as a CEO. All of them were at the middle management people. So somewhere this learning for them had helped them accelerate in their career. So whether if you're in middle management or if you're in senior management, personally to me, so like I told you earlier, so I was managing a P&L of a business. So from there, moving into HR, which I was not qualified, right? So I moved into HR, but it helped me to manage HR as a function. And then moving into as an HR director, having to manage and to be on a board of a company, managing a large portfolio, I would attribute much of it to my learning that I've had in Great Lakes.
Thank you. I think that also addresses Mayank's question, which was how can PGXPM help us move from IT mid-management role to senior leadership? I think you know had been several examples of people not just moving to leadership roles but also becoming entrepreneurs, right? Based on the confidence that one gets of being able to run an entire business, right? Not just the technical aspect that allows ones to venture out to take the overall responsibility at the business level. And we have several such examples from every batch. So I think again, one needs to be prepared about, you know, having the clarity of what one wants to do, right? It is not a magic bullet that you do a program and suddenly, recruiters will come to you and offer you a job on a platter. That's not something that's going to happen. That happens for fresh graduates where their campus placements and things like that. In this case, it's all about you understanding what you want to do, and then this being an enabler of, how do you present yourself, how do you showcase that you have the requisite capabilities to take up senior management roles, right? That's something that you have to work on. Everything else is there to help you get there, right? I think been clarified. um,
And
there's a
one
question
more,
from
uh,
yeah,
uh,
Balaji.
wait, close this part. One more thing. I think the purpose for which you are doing this program is at the foundation, right? So, if the purpose for you is to learn, get more experience, more conceptual clarity, pick up ability for you to think better, think solid, I think this course is going to add tremendous value for you. So, hence, focus on the purpose as to why you want to do this program first.
Yeah. And it's a simple thing, right? If you believe in the markets, if you are more capable, the value would always come. Once you have the capability, companies are desperate to get people, right? That's always the case. All companies, HR heads, I'm sure will vouch for that, companies are always desperate for good talent. So question is whether you can get yourself into that position where you are considered great talent. Yeah. I think Renganathan, I think you want to add.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry. Just I'm going to actually say a counterintuitive statement here. At least two of my classmates, batchmates were there because they're completely disillusioned. Right? They picked this up because they were confused. Okay. And interestingly, two of them went out to set up their own ventures. Right? So it's a counterintuitive statement. Typically, you fix your goal. I want to do this, and then you come. Yes, some of them were in like that, but at least a couple of people who were confused. They didn't know what to do, and therefore they picked this up, and they walked out and set up their own ventures. One is in Chennai and one is in Bangalore. So just want to add in.
Yeah, I think
I
that's also
would
an
like to
important
add
thing.
something also.
Yeah. Yeah,
See
Imran,
now,
please go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, please. See, now that we all are on the side where we are hiring graduates and we are hiring MBA, MBAs out of colleges, most of the large organizations have this program where they recruit a batch of 20, 30 from all the large institutes, and then, they get uh, included into all our separate companies as management trainees. I've had them at Mahindra, I've had them at Aditya Birla, I've had them at Sher Khan. What you realize is that they come with MBA skills, but not a core functional skill most of the time. Whereas the kind of MBA that you're doing here, that gets you, uh, your function well, and then on top of it, you get an MBA experience which deepens your knowledge about various other things. Uh, as a manager, I prefer getting people who are functional specialists, because digital marketing is that way, and you have to invest lesser time to get get them to learn the day to days and the ins and outs of your function. And because if, say, I got a person who had done the executive MBA, I would be more happy than getting a management trainee, fresh graduate from a normal institute. Because, see, for the manager, he has to manage his PNL, and if you're getting somebody who has those functional skills, it anyways becomes challenging to keep that resource that's a management trainee at a higher pay grade versus all the others in your whole system, and then make full value out of him right at the outset. So there, the company is doing the investment on you and hoping that you grow over a period of time, and show your skills and ability. Here, you get that skill already. Yep.
let me just add to what Balaji mentioned, the counterintuitive examples of people actually being confused and coming in. I think that's also a fair thing, right? I think sometimes people have this mid-career conundrums of what to do, right? You've been there, you've been having a steady career, and then you like want to do something different. You don't want to be doing that for the next 20 years after spending 15 years there. And so I think one of the important you know opportunity that is there in any program like this is also the ability to reflect, right? You are taking time off from your day-to-day work. You are in a very different environment where you are getting so much inputs every day, right? That also allows you to reflect and get some clarity on how you can do things better, like what is that excites you, right? You are being exposed to so many different things. So there'll be some things that would ignite an idea or get you passionate about exploring a different space. So I think that's a very fair thing, right? That one may not need to have all the clarity, but I think that I'm sure even those folks had the clarity that they want to actually explore something new, right? They wanted to build beyond whatever they have already been through, even though they didn't have the exact clarity on what exactly they want to do, right? So this again gives an opportunity to relook at things. I think there's a question, and I think that's also an important question. While on the surface it may look like pretty much simplistic, and that's uh, whether how difficult is it managing uh, you know the program along with personal and professional commitments. That's a question that we keep getting. Now, earlier, I think what most of you have done was attend the program where you had a 9-day modules, um, almost like Friday evening to um, the next Sunday, not the immediate, but the next Sunday evening. So post COVID, though, we had made some changes where we have some modules which are about 7 days and some other modules which are like 4 to 5 days, with a bit of the program in the online mode, about 30-35% in the online mode. So the program structure is such that the basics, the fundamentals, which are more of theory and all, that's delivered in the online format. These are not recorded stuff. This is live sessions with faculty, interactive sessions, where the foundational aspects of the particular topic are covered. And post that, students come to campus, and there you are more focused than on applied learning, which means more of the case studies, more of applications, projects, and so on, right? So that's how it's structured. But again, like I'd like to ask the participants or the alumni, how difficult is it to manage, especially since some of you were already in a senior role, right? Maybe Yogesh, you can come in. You are already managing a product. You are already and in a startup environment, which means that the intensity is much higher.
Sure. So I think it's absolutely challenging. Okay, so there's no doubt about it. But for me, and I think for everyone, it works if you have a time management skills. Okay, you have to do a fantastic time management, and you need to prioritize certain things. For example, in when I was there, on the time management perspective, my existing work, which is primary, which is like day-to-day work in my office. Uh, Before the course, I would have Saturday, Sundays also with me. Okay. If this has not been on Thursday, I can complete on this weekend. Okay. But I think post joining this, I need to have a perfect time management. I do need to close this on Thursday because I used to travel whenever there is a 15 days classes. I used to travel from Hyderabad to Chennai. And those days when I was there in the campus, I don't have to work or think about my day-to-day activity. So I think need to complete those part and the prioritization. I think these are the two things has worked for me. And I think most of the colleagues were there, part of my batch. They also initially struggled on this, but I think once they understood this, this is fairly simple, not much challenge then.
Yeah, and I think that is also one of the learnings, right? How do you manage, prioritize, and all, right? That it by itself enhances the capacity. Balaji, I think you have been most recent in the program, and you have also dealt with the challenges of Balaji Renganathan. You have been through the COVID times, partly online, offline. So how difficult or easy was it to manage, all your different commitments?
Yeah. I was just typing it. To be honest, it definitely was not easy. 22 years was 22 months was like a one was, right? You definitely have to sacrifice family time, hobbies, whatever, and really spend some good amount of time to be able to get your assignments done quality. If you just want to, that's fine, but there's no. And also, you really need to spare time to be able to work with, connect with others for your group assignments, etc. Yes, 22 months was definitely not easy. You really had to put yourself into it to be able to come out.
Let me address a few questions which are more about the program specifics. Sant has a question: is this online, and what is the fee? I joined late. Sant, this is not an online program. This is a program for senior executives where uh, professionals come to campus once in 3 months. But essentially, it's about it's essentially a classroom based program, but you have some component of it online. I just mentioned that shortly also. Um, uh, but basically, it's a classroom based program. If that's your question, and in terms of fees, I think those details are available on the website. It's about the basic fees is about 12 lakhs. Um, Saif had a follow-up question to the earlier one with the career assistance support services will be provided. Or placements. See, Saif, I think it's already been explained. This is not for uh, young graduates, and also it's for executives who are already been in the industry for a while. So what is actually provided is uh, career coaching and mentorship. We have executive coaching. I think that was not there as part of the program earlier, but now we have that since the last couple of years. So you'll have executive coaching which will help you position yourself for more senior roles, right? And almost all senior management roles are based on one-to-one assessment, not like campus hiring, which happens for fresh graduates, right? So I think participants at this level benefit more from focused guidance. Um, there's a question from Mohan Raj on how AI and Gen AI is going to be part of the marketing strategy specialization. Mohan Raj, as we speak, we are looking to incorporate this in the program. In fact, we have already done that for our 1 year PGPM program, um, uh, right, which is a full-time program. And this year we are also incorporating that in the PGXPM. We already had this, in data analytics and all incorporated a few years back that Balaji also mentioned. Participants were actually learning Python, which was tough for many who are not coming from a technical side. But we have Gen AI is something more recent, so that is getting incorporated this year. So what you'll have is like case studies, exercises, right, and projects where you are going to apply these. Sarthak has a question: is this a master's degree program? Sarthak, this is considered an MBA program by AMBA UK, which is one of the world's top 3 uh, accreditation bodies. It is also accredited by ASCSB UK, USA, right? And ASCSB is considered the gold standard of international accreditation. So the PGXPM is accredited by both of these international organizations. Uh, the Indian regulators don't, approve these kind of, executive programs, right? So it's internationally recognized and accredited, and I think it's considered as one of the highest quality programs, right? We are among the only 10 schools in India to have both uh, ASSB and AMBA, right? Two of the global double crown accreditations. Um, will a mentor be assigned to a particular student or a group of students? Yes, Saif, as I mentioned, there is going to be an executive coach who will be working with a group of students, right? So and I think it's basically that's comes in the second year, right? It's a 2-year program, essentially about 20 months. So it starts somewhere midway in the course, right? Once the basic foundational courses are done. Apart from live courses, will there be pre-recorded sessions? Primarily, there will be live sessions. I think we prefer that it is interactive and not recorded content. Of course, there will be pre-reads. There will be things that one has to go through prior to the class. But the most of the, uh, you know, uh, let's say teaching and learning would happen in a live mode if it's online or inside the classroom in the campus, right? But not so much through the recorded sessions, right? The recorded content, if at all, would be not uh, in the class hours. That would be as additional reading or preparatory material. I think there was a question on uh, basically about somebody from with a 9 years of experience, whether to do the 1-year full-time MBA program or something like the PGXPM. So for PGPM, we look at people primarily at between 2 to 7-8 years of experience. I think most of the batch is basically between 2 to 6 years, right? So 9 years would be on the upper uh, limit of the PGPM full-time program. For the PGXPM, we look at candidates at 8+ years of experience, right? So you pretty much are at a stage where you would qualify for the PGXPM. But of course, we'll also look at other factors once you apply in the assessment, whether you're ready for a program which is more oriented towards developing, leadership and general management capabilities, right? For that, you should have already had some kind of managerial experience of leading at least a small team. So if you had that experience, then the PGXPM would be the right program for you. Ramesh has a question on what's the demand for the program with compared to online programs like the online PGDM. I think Ramesh, these target very different segments. I think the online PGDM is more of a substitute for our full-time PGDM, which is for fresh graduates, right? Or people with limited experience, 2, 3, 4 years of experience. Whereas a PGXPM is our flagship executive management program. As you see, a lot of alumni are in at director roles or CXO roles, right? So that is the goal of this program, right? If you are beginning your career, can't do a full-time program, then something like the online PGDM works. If you're seasoned professional looking to move from a functional management to essentially a general management role or a senior functional leader role, then the PGXPM would be the more relevant program for you, right? So I think more or less, I think all the questions have been addressed. So I think we have about 10 minutes to wrap up. So I just open it and request all the alumni to um, you know give some advice, right? Parting advice in terms of if the participants are doing the program this year, like how should they approach it, right? From before the program to while they're in the program, right? What should they be doing, and uh, 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 how do they maximize what they get out of the program? Yogesh and Balaji, either of you can guide the participants.
So let me share my personal experience. Now, uh, I had a specific thing that I wanted to learn, which was about understanding businesses a little better, so that I can add value either in sales and marketing or in HR. That was the perspective with which I came, and you will have phenomenal support that will come in for you from the faculty and also from other people who are working with you. Yes, we did speak about how difficult it is to balance your education, work, another life, yeah, that could be a challenge. But one of the things that really helped me is I told my reporting manager that I'm going to be doing this program and I need support. So, which my reporting manager was glad and happy to give me that time frame. So that really worked well. Second is we formed a community of classmates and we were together and we used to look forward for these reunions. It is like reunions of friends, right? So we used to come together, have a lot of fun, and we also learned. So that was another, and that used to work as a very good support mechanism, and it requires a lot of hard work. So because it's easy to waste time, it requires a lot of hard work. Please put in that effort that will be required, and uh, be open to learn. So there are multiple styles with which faculties will come. So faculties use different case studies. They have a video-based learning. They will give you reading-based learning. Some of the lectures are very interesting. So there are multiple forms. And then in addition, you are participating and you're also observing other people participate. There could simulations is something that I have really personally loved. The simulations that they do, very interesting learning. So multiple forms of learning is available. So maximize that learning and keep sharing learning with other people. And one of the best methods that I also learned very well is take some of the learning which you have learned in the classroom, take it back to your own colleagues and share that this is what I learned, and then this is something that could be useful to your colleagues. Sharing that learning was very useful. So, all the very best. So, be open to learning and expand what your current capabilities are. Rest of the job, your career progression, money, all of it will follow.
Um, Renganathan, I think you're the most recent alumni. So, what would be your guidance on like do's and don'ts before or during the program? Like,
Okay, don't miss the residential, right? Don't shy away from engaging, arguing, debating, getting into conflicts, right? Especially we're doing group work, right? It's always easy to say, okay, fine, your view is right, okay, fine, you do it, I will just coast along, right? Maybe the other person's view is right, but it's also important to test your thought processes, right? It gives you a safe space to try make mistakes, to fight make mistakes, to patch up. I think the thing is you have to immerse yourself, and not just shy away from engaging, right? That's the first important thing. And the second important thing is that, like, um, is to go deeper into those assignments, right? Like I said, you can do the assignments at a very surface level. You can do it a little bit of effort, right? You're always trying to see that, okay, fine, it's okay to be a little bit competitive and say that, okay, how do I make sure I hit my 4, right? Or at least get out of a 3.75. Who's doing well? Can I do better than her? Can I do better than him? It's okay to do all that, right? Because that's a way to really up yourself up. Okay. And take initiative, take lead. It really helps.
thank you, Balaji. I think on that note, I think we'll wrap up today. I think it was a very insightful session. It's great to have like 4 senior leaders from the industry to participate and take out the time to guide, prospective students. And for personally, for me as well, it was very interesting to learn about your journeys. Imran, I interacted in the past, but rest of you, I think it's the first time I'm meeting you, so it was been an absolute pleasure to hear about your experiences. Some of that has been from before I was part of Great Lakes, so that was also very useful for me to know about the past. So thank you all so much, and thanks for all the participants, and wish you a fantastic day or whatever the remaining part of the weekend. So thanks everyone. Bye.